So, what was it like shooting without me?
It's video quality's better. I just have no way of getting it to that guy Matt. Like it wouldn't upload to Dropbox. It wouldn't upload to Google. It would always fail. And like I just was just like, oh, don't worry about clips for now. Also, it's a different vibe. Like when I'm doing it alone, it's not silly at all. It's more like thinking, which is cool. So it's a different dynamic. I'll always keep doing some of those when they're scheduling. I just think it's definitely a different podcast because here it's like I'm definitely not going to get deep into my thoughts with you because we're sitting here being silly a little bit, you know. But you know, it's also like I'm a crazy person because I'm just sitting there for 40 minutes talking to myself. You're just like, hey, so like,
you're like, here we are, we're back full circle.
Yeah, but it's what's funny is even when people are shooting solo podcasts like Theo or Chris or whatever, they have their like producers around, so they're like, so to sit in a room and just talk to yourself, I think you get deeper. I think you're really inside someone's mind. So I think that's what's kind of.
You mean? Oh, okay.
The listeners are really inside of my mind.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I'm just kind of like, all right, well, and then I go through also like, because I'm editing it, I'll go through and take chunks out that I think was like a lull. You know what I mean? Because you
can, yeah.
I'm not going to make you do work because he doesn't get paid. But, you know, and it's also like the music theming in and out at the end of the episode. It's way better editing. But it's tedious. It's a lot. I got a lot on my plate, man. It's just too like trying to post clips every day to promote shows, and then like trying to do a sports podcast show too. It's like I don't even have time to do that. There's too much. I'm trying to do so much shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, welcome back to another episode of Life with Lenoci. We can keep the beginning in. So that's the intro. Sorry about that, guys. You know, we can start fresh right off. We always get the vibrations in the nose. That means you need to trim your nose hairs. This week's episode is brought to you by Manscaped. If you got long nose hairs, trim them with my Manscaped nose trimmer.
Really trying to get that $30.
Give us $40. $40 an episode.
I mean, I'll take that. Shit.
Yeah, I'll take $20 each.
Yeah. Manscaped.
So here's the deal. Welcome back to another episode of Life with Lenoci. We are back in the studio with Mark. We got Mark here. You know, I even had Haley asking. Haley and me are back at it, guys. We're back in love. How about that? A lot of self-therapy and some months of rocky roads, and I figured it out. And I don't know what happened. I honestly don't know what happened. I don't know. I just needed to really just kind of find myself and do some things and you know, get things in motion. You know, maybe I feel comfortable. Maybe it's the fact that my place is fully furnished. Maybe that's all it took.
Just took a couple trips to Home Goods.
Could this be another episode about Home Goods? It could. It definitely could.
Use Lenoci or homegoods.com/Lenoci for 10% off.
For 10% off, go to homegoods.com/lifewithlenoci for 10% off. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast, guys. You also can become a Patreon member for $2, and you don't really get anything. It's just supporting the podcast. So we are back in the studio. I'm back with Mark. Last couple episodes just solo, and you know it's fine. We did the living room episode last week where we shot in the living room. We're like, let's try this, and then we had a solo podcast, and now we're here. We're back because Mark isn't sick anymore. He was sick for a little bit. Then I was busy, and then you know, next week is busy. We'll see what happens, but you know, we'll be back in here, and it's good to be around somebody, around Mark. And you know what I did for Mark this week? I was sitting on the couch and I go, man, you know what? He'll feel really good if I send this text and invite him to Haley's art fair. So I did it.
It was nice.
Without the intention of really caring if he came. Did I care that he came? No. If he came, would I have cared? No. But a part of me was like, you know what? I'm doing this for him. This isn't for me. I'm that powerful in people's lives that I can give them joy. That is something special. Oh, what do you do for other people? I can give them joy. I can also take I can take from them and make them feel small. And people would think, oh, this guy's mean, he's evil. Or some would say he's kind of like Jesus because he is giving you joy. To have the power to give someone joy is unbelievable. And I'm one of those people. Matt, this is going to be clipped up somehow, but I'm one of those people that gives people joy because I can send you a text that makes you feel wanted, but then I could also ignore when you respond. That is like, that's powerful. What were you going to say?
You were saying, before you started saying like, oh, you're back with Haley, you were saying even Haley was asking.
Oh, even Haley was asking, because sometimes she chimes in on peeks in on the podcast. She was like, so what does Mark look like? she was curious, and I was like, I don't really have a picture of him on me. She goes, does he have an Instagram? I was like, yeah, but he doesn't have pictures on there. And I left it at that. So I didn't even show her your profile picture. So she has no idea. So in her head, she has an idea of what she thinks you look like, but she has no idea. He just looks like a regular guy.
Hold on. I feel like we can do something fun with this. Now I wish I had gone, and I would have just never introduced myself. I would have just been, you could have just been like, oh yeah, Mark was at the gallery.
Oh, and she'd be like, which one? You would have, your wife would have said something.
Oh no, it would have been funny. Like, I want to go somewhere where she would be just never introduce myself. You never acknowledge me.
Maybe I'll meet you at Pacific Palisades Park one day. You'll just be walking by and I'll be like, oh. And you'll just come up and be like, can I get a pic? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Holy crap, are you Michael Lenoci from Life with Lenoci? And just be a total fan.
Then she would be like, no, now I know. She's like, there's no way he has fans of that. I see the 56 views. I will say that I learned a lot about art this weekend. This is my second time I've been to an art fair. It's the same one. It was the other art fair in Santa Monica. They have it at the Santa Monica airport in a hangar. It was in fall. They do it every 6 months. The first time was a lot better. This time was not as exciting. But I will say, I kind of came up with a bit. I tried it at the Haha yesterday, and it didn't really go over well because I was kind of just, hashing out the idea. But the idea is that of all the arts, a painter, an artist, they are the darkest of all the arts. Okay, so what are all the arts? You have a musician. Hear me out. You're making a face, Mark. And now I am not as happy. I am not as happy because of the face you made. And so you took joy away from me. And for that gives you power. So there's arts. What would we consider the arts? Let's keep it basic. You have musicians, comedians, actors, and
your painters,
sculptors, right? Photographers. They all are in one, right? I would say photographers could be like a fifth, right?
Yeah.
No, because they're at the art fair. They have their stuff.
Yeah.
So they're kind of with them. So there's 4 basics, right? Unless I can't think of any. So there's the 4. Sure, there's other arts with like, you could consider meditation, whatever. We're not going to get into that. Yeah. So there's the 4. With musicians and actors and comedians. Let's just go with those 3. Of the 4, those are the only 3 that are performing. Artists don't perform, right? They're not performing for you. An art fair is a very uncomfortable world for all of them because an artist is doing it by themselves in a basement, and it's an extension of what they are thinking or who they are. And it's a true fact because I've gone to Haley's studio and I've painted, and I brought a buddy. I'm not going to say his name. And he's...
Can I make a guess?
You wouldn't know him, actually.
Oh.
He's not a stand-up comic. But he painted...
Damn, I wanted it to be Joe.
No, but Joe's would be weird too. His painting, my buddy's painting, was black and red. And if you met him, you're like, yeah. Mine, I always go for blue and green. Just like, oh, guy had a good life. Happy, happy, happy. Everyone's art. When you go to the art fair, for instance, there was a very West Hollywood gay guy who had a booth there. And when I say West Hollywood gay guy, that's a specific type of gay person. All right. They have a mustache. They wear tight shorts. They might wear a top that kind of reveals a little bit. Right. They're kind of like a grease lightning. type of gay. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
A little flashy, overly proud of being gay. It would be like if I was wearing an Adidas jumpsuit and was like, I'm Italian, you know, you'd be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody, every ethnicity, everyone has their thing that they do too much. Okay. So, but you could tell he was probably parties a little bit. I wouldn't say just observations. And I could be wrong. I don't know. Probably dabbles in some drugs and stuff because he's a WeHo gay. WeHo gays party a lot and they do drugs. Okay. So he had paintings and a lot of his drawings were like, I believe it's of him, but like passed out over a toilet. Another guy passed out on his back, but their pants are down. Like it was kind of dark. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was very good. It was well drawn, but it was kind of dark. And I was like, this is dark. Like it was very, and also very gay.
So wait, after this one guy, you think painters are darker than comedians?
I haven't even finished the whole thing. I'm right about this. Okay. Now.
Enlighten me.
I will persuade you. So again, an artist is doing their art by themselves alone for themselves as an extension of them. They don't want people to see it until they want to make money. They kind of like, oh, I need to make money. I have to go to an art fair. But it's like, don't look at my stuff. They're in a dark corner. And every aspect of the other arts, stand up, acting, musician, there's a percentage of the people in that world that are driven by fame, which makes them normal. And hear me out. Normal in the sense of they don't have the passion to do the art and not care the result of it. So they're not as dark. So if you have the passion for stand-up or the passion for music, you do want notary, but that's not what's driving you to do it. So that's why you get good at it. And then you do get notarized because people are like, this is unique to what they're doing. And that's what drives you. There's going to be people who are like, oh, I can do that. I think I can do it. And they come in that world and they try it and they dabble it and then they fade out. But there's people in those arts that are driven by fame. So they're interacting with you. So the fact that there's people that are willing to do that art that are normal, that are driven by fame, makes it even less darker. Do you see what I'm saying? Because nobody's like, oh, I'm going to do art to get famous. Like that's the hardest, you know, the most famous artists are always, it's after they die usually. So there's no one driven by fame to do art. Art is a real passion from inside. So that's the darkness of like everybody's doing art for a passion, where there are comedians out there who are like, I'm just doing this for exposure to help my acting. Or there's musicians like, I want to be a singer. Maybe not so much musicians with instruments, but there's singers out there like, I want to be seen and heard, right? So that aspect makes it less dark, that you have normals involved in your passion. And also the ability to, you're performing, you're sharing comedy. You're like, I want to make people laugh. I want you to laugh. I want you to enjoy, where you're not throwing your art up being like, I want to make people laugh. You're just kind of, they're awkwardly sitting there and you can tell it's uncomfortable for them because as you're walking by all the booths, they have to be presentable because they're meeting people and some of them are great. Some of them are like, hi, how are you? What? Yeah, so this is how I do it. And some of them are just like this. And then you'll catch them and they'll go, hey. And you're like, but you see them just sitting there going like, this is not what I want to be doing right now. And they're just sitting in their darkness, where, you know, a lot of musicians are performers, which the dark thing about musicians is it's a party world. So they're doing a lot of drugs. There's a lot of late nights. There's a lot of, but it's a fun time if you're successful as a musician. An actor, not so much performing in front of people. I think of all the arts is most driven from fame. Now, but there are a lot of people who are like, no, I really love the art of acting. And I think they come from theater. I think the theater actors are the most passionate of the actors, right? An actor who's like, I'm just focusing on sitcom acting. You're like, okay, this guy wants to get on something and he's filling a void because he wants to prove something, right? There's no, I highly doubt there's a passion to be so good at sitcom acting or single cam act, like, you know what I mean? There's like, I feel like if you were so passionate about acting, some part of you has to come from theater.
There's not many
right?
that take it so serious enough that they refer to it as their craft.
Yes.
They're a sitcom.
You know what I'm saying? Like Al Pacino comes from theater. That's you know what I mean? So De Niro, these guys come from like a theater background. And then, then you have comedians who are actors. But so that's where my synopsis of why artists are the darkest motherfuckers, because they're alone and they don't want anyone to see what they're doing. And that is like a school shooter-esque.
I would be curious what like the suicide rate would be
For all the four arts?
Yeah, because like,
Well, they say it's dentist.
well, like, because nothing is worse for me than like driving down Sunset and seeing like R.I.P. a new name each week on the store and the Laugh Factory, because that's always brutal.
But
And
I mean,
it's always
but I mean, some of them are just dying from old age though too. It's just like constantly just people dying too. They're just
I would argue
they don't put
80%
actors-
of those names are a suicide or overdose.
Okay, we could go over a few of them. I disagree.
Oh, where do we find a list?
Overdose is different because that happens in all aspects of life. Like my friends
Yeah.
back home have friends that overdose. There's a huge
But it could,
epidemic in America with opioids. So
Yeah.
like that's a common thing across all genres of art. And then the stigma of like comedians killing themselves is such a such a
you
fake
think
thing.
you think it's overblown?
Yeah, 100%. It's
Okay.
because they're notarized is like, oh, Robin Williams it happened with. It's like, yeah, it's the most famous person. There's not a most famous dentist so that everybody knows about it. It's like the world is famous. So, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm just laughing because on the way to the store, there's this like dentist place, and it's so overdone. And it's like, if you've
if you go
ever
to the
seen,
dentist on Sunset,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
it's like this guy hits like the inventor of the Ultra Tooth, and there's like a video billboard that shows him in glasses and smiling. And I just
Fuck
think
that.
like I'm ready for that guy.
But like, I mean, that's what they said. They said that like if you Google the highest suicidal occupations, I've always heard and believe that dentist is number one. It still, I believe, still is.
Looking at it, 1 second.
And I believe, some people's biggest fear is public speaking over dying.
Ooh.
What does it say?
Medical doctors number 1.
So, okay.
Dentists number 2.
So all right. What's it say?
Police officers number 3.
And it all makes sense.
Veterinarians number 4.
Uh-huh.
Oh, veterinarian would be fucking tough.
It's definitely,
Feel
that
like
one's
putting
very
down
sad.
animals.
What is entertainer in there?
No, then it goes financial services. Because I feel like you embezzle money and then you're like trapped and you're like, fuck.
Well,
there's
it's
no way
people who listen. Here's why: if you are in the financial world, your passion is money, and when you find yourself in a financial crutch, you think it's the end of the world.
out. Yeah.
When you're like, hey man, you should try being a comedian. You're in a financial crutch your whole career.
Right. And then real estate agents, electricians, lawyers.
Real estate agents, you could put, that's a retired actress.
I think real estate agents, just because the sheer population of those guys, they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah, there's so many. So either way, I feel like that list is excluding artists.
Farmers, and then to round out the top 10, pharmacist.
Yeah, it's weird that like you don't have entertainers in there. But again, there's a small percentage of people who are entertainers. That's also part of it.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
because if you think about
Was
like,
there 500,000 entertainers in the country? There's probably 10 million realtors, 10 million.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it goes off percentage anyways, though. It's not going off the number of how many people probably died. It's probably the percentage anyway, so that wouldn't make a difference. Sorry to get so dark with you guys. But anyways, I just wanted to, I think maybe I put some light on why I think they're the darkest. So now I didn't have a bit about it, but I just thought it was funny that they are always like, don't look at me as I paint in this dungeon.
so did you record a whole Life with Lenoci there?
What do you mean?
You should have
A-
had
a
your
vlog?
You should have had your camera guy go.
He's full-time busy. I don't have vlogs anymore.
It would have
He's
been
with
great to
Chris.
be like, all right, we're walking.
Sam is full-time making he has a great life because of me.
He's
He's on tour.
Chris stole your Sam.
Pretty much. I mean, not stole. I mean, good for he's making money. I mean, I can't pay Sam.
Boo.
I can't pay Sam what he's making.
Boo.
But I mean, is Sam indebted to me? Some could argue. Some could argue he's indebted. But I'm definitely not making enough on the road to be bringing a vlog guy yet. But 2024, baby, we will have
You
to.
have been touring a lot lately. How's it going?
Indianapolis was a wash. Not a lot sold there. It was a lesson learned to not do shows in the middle of the country on Sundays. Try to do Wednesdays or Thursdays instead. Because Indianapolis is God. Is that funny?
Yes.
But the thing is, Indianapolis was connected to Chicago, which was a great trip. So I just came from Chicago, which Chicago and Indianapolis you think are close. That is not an easy transportation situation. There's no train. So it's either a Greyhound bus or a short flight or rent a car. And I did neither of those three because guess what? Well, the cheapest would have been a Greyhound bus, but I had like 3 suitcases and my equipment. And I was like, not doing that. And it would have been $90 anyways.
Wait, what equipment?
My cameras and stuff to shoot my shows. So I had, and like 2 baggages of luggage. So it was just like, I don't want to be on a Greyhound bus that I don't know what, it's not like on the East Coast where, I'm sorry about that. See, at home, I would cut that part out. Actually, what's funny? In the last episode, I forgot. Like, I was like, oh. And I went like this. And I go, fuck. I got to itch my balls. I'll cut this out. And I forgot to cut it out. And then I had it uploaded already. And I go, you know what? That was just a funny moment I'm going to leave in there. I left it in there. But, whatever. But so I didn't take the Greyhound. Renting a car and dropping it off because I was flying out of Indianapolis, that would have been like $300. The short flight was like $350 just for one way because small airport. So I Ubered. It was a $210 Uber. So it was the cheapest way to get there, because I didn't have a young comic that I knew in Chicago that would drive back and forth. Because why would he drive there and then drive alone? So it was just like, so, and then like ticket sales were low. So it was like, whatever I learned, but I made a lot in Chicago. So that was good. That being said, Phoenix was okay. Phoenix was like, it was spring break there. Sold some tickets for a Wednesday, but they papered some of the rooms. So you had half the crowd knew who I was and half the crowd had no idea who I was. So I was bombing there for a couple moments there. Not bombing. I'm never bombing because I'm having fun, but people were not vibing with what I was doing. They were definitely like, this guy's an asshole. This guy's racist. This guy's a dickhead. And like other people were like,
I feel like Arizona would love that.
Yeah, I mean, but whatever. If you see what I do, then people are gonna love it. Like Philly's selling. I have like 80 tickets sold in Philly, and that's the 16th, April 16th. So hey, if you're in Philly and you know people, hit them up. That's gonna be a fun crowd because I see people comment like, "This clip made me buy tickets to Philly," like me being a dick or something in a crowd work. So that's gonna be a fun show. Not sure what the numbers are in New York. New York's April 13th. I'll be there. April 13th. MichaelLenoci.com for New York. Philly the 16th. San Francisco. Probably no one will come because you guys are woke and babies. That's May 11th. Just kidding. Come May 11th. And then Fort Lauderdale's May 23rd. And maybe adding a second show May 22nd, Monday. Oh, and then Huntington Beach is April 22nd. In Rec Room. And that's selling pretty good. That's over 70 sold. So that will be good. And then
who have you been touring with?
Myself.
Just you?
Yeah. Just betting on myself, dude.
All right.
So these are how I'm selling these tickets. Just from posting Instagram clips.
Congrats.
Yeah. So, hopefully we can get more of you guys to come out. And then can you see this shirt? You know whose shirt this is? You know whose merchandise this is? No. Is it in the shot? It kind of is. Here you go.
It's a smile.
It's a smile. This is, I actually think, the best merch idea I've ever seen out of all the comedians.
Who is it?
I think it's the best one.
I'm going to hate because I feel like I should know it.
You definitely should know it. Who has a smile that looks awkward like that? He's a young comic. And he's a young person, too. He's both. He's a young comic and a young person. But this
is it Trevor Wallace?
No. I wouldn't consider him a young comic.
Who is it?
Anthony Storetti.
God, that is good.
Good, right? Is that not brilliant?
Anthony.
That's what I said. When I saw it, I go,
goodness.
Of all the merch I've ever seen anyone do, I mean, obviously Dalia had that life rip shit that went well. And then I've seen, I guess Craig has Loosey Goosey. That's fine.
My dog.
This is the best thing I've ever seen because it
that,
goes with
that,
it.
that doesn't. But like,
And it's
it
also a
doesn't.
cool shirt.
It's a cool shirt, and it doesn't even have to be like a million people could wear that and not even know it has anything to
Yeah.
do with Anthony.
You're just like, it's, yeah.
And then
it's
when you put it
unbelievable.
together, you go, "Fuck, that's good."
And he never needs another merch idea ever again.
No,
Ever again.
like that should like everybody should be wearing their shirt, not knowing like.
Yeah. I will
Oh.
say this. So that's Anthony Stretty. I don't think he sells them online, but you could probably DM him and then he'll be like, how do you mail shit to people? And I'll have to teach him. But
So I noticed it when you came in. I was like, "Oh, that's a cool shirt."
yeah, it's a really cool shirt and I'm sure it's affordable. I'll teach him. I'll tell him to do hoodies actually, because you make more money off hoodies because people are more willing to buy hoodies and everybody loves a hoodie. You can pretty much wear them year round, except in Florida, because it's like, hey, it's nighttime. I'm going to be cozy. So, Anthony Storetti is his name. And he's going to do San Francisco with me. So I'll be up there and I'm trying to get a Sacramento one and I'll let him sell these merches. I will say this. This is for, maybe Matt can clip this. You're going to clip a lot of these. This is going to be now hate and comedy right here. I've been in a situation where I've opened for a guy one time and he was like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable with you selling merch. And I was like, okay. Because they think it takes away from maybe their sales. Here's the thing. I think it helps. I think it brings people over to a booth that go, I want that shirt or I want his merch. And when they get to the booth, then they feel empathetic maybe for the comedian, or they were like, oh, I want to support him, and then they buy the other person's merch as well. I don't think anybody goes, well, I can only pick one, so I'm going to go with this guy versus that guy, especially if the headliner sells tickets. Like, I'm not going to name who this guy was, but he wasn't like famous, but he was
names.
He was doing well.
That's bullshit.
And he was doing well. And at the time I was like, oh, do you care if I sell? And at the time I was selling these towels. And I was like, for instance, like when I went to Vegas, when I was doing Vegas with Mike Marino, all right, he's an Italian old school comic. He does an Italian act. He had merchandise and we were sitting there and I go, hey man, you can say no. I always present it respectfully. I go, hey, you can say no if you don't want to. I go, I have these like towels I sell for like $10 just to make a little extra cash. I'm only trying to like sell like 3 a show, right? And then I'll like back off. He's like, man, the way you asked me was really cool, but yeah, so absolutely go sell. And like he was cool, and I was like, and his situation, it would be more understanding if he was like, dude, we're probably only gonna have 7 people buy stuff, so like I'm trying to make my money. I'm the headliner. This other guy I was with was like probably getting $5,000 for the weekend minimum. So it's like you're making them. First of all, if you can afford to bring an opener, you're making money. You're making money. You know what I'm saying? Like if like, because right now I have all my dates and people are like, oh, I want to do these shows. I'm like, if you're there, like I'll pay, like the club will pay you to do the show, or like if you're in that city, but like I can't pay an extra $350 for your flight and then try to find you a place to stay. Like I need all the money I can get right now. But if you're in the city, you're more than welcome to open. But like I can't bring an opener with me, and let alone I think that if I could bring anyone with me, I might still first bring a vlog guy first. Just for content, although maybe not, because I can shoot it now and I could shoot my own show. I just set the camera up. And a vlog is like whatever, it's fun, but I think it's better if it's like bigger shows and a bigger tour. But my whole point is, if you could bring someone on tour, then like you can let the opener sell some merch.
I feel like you should totally let the underlings
it's like
sell merch.
It also helps you, like, hey, I don't have to take care of them as much. Like if you had an opener make $500 a night, then you're like, oh, he can buy his food sometimes too.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? Like he could, if he knows he's gonna make $500 off merch, he can pick up his flight. I don't know, maybe it depends on your situation. But no, if you ask someone to open for you, you should always get their flight and make sure they have a place to stay. And then also, if you're at that position, let them sell the merch. Not selling. If you're a comedian and you're not letting a guy sell merch, that's your own insecurity, and that's you not. Like, what do you think is the downfall of really, let's say your theory is, oh, it's going to take away from my sales. At most, what, how many sales though? 3 or 4? Wouldn't those 3 or 4 sales that you might be losing, wouldn't that be worth the enjoyment or fulfillment you're giving that opener who's supposed to be your friend? So to any comedians not letting an opener sell merch, fuck you. Fuck you. You're a pansy. You're a coward. You're a bitch.
I Man,
I've even had
That is-
Craig, like, I've hit up Craig and be like, yo, let me hop on like an Irvine show with you, and gone to his show and did 10 minutes and then sold merch and made $500. Like, that's what friends do. That's what comics do. Like, if I looked at like, oh, I need money, let me go look at the Irvine Improv website, see who's headlining. If I know him well enough, yo, let me do 10 minutes and sell merch. Everybody would be like, yeah, all the time. When I was in Phoenix, one of the openers was like, do you care if I sell merch? Get your money, man. Get your fucking money. If you fucking don't let openers sell merch, you're a fucking coward. And it's because you are insecure about your own shit. That's your own shit. Why would you not want your friends to get money? Why would you not want to help? Oh, I'm helping them with the stage time. People act like, oh, the stage time is valuable. There's stage time everywhere. And no matter what, if somebody has the itch to do stand-up, they're never going to not get up. They're always going to be getting up. So yeah, you're adding stage time to them, but stop acting like that pays your rent. Stage time doesn't pay rent. And these motherfuckers need to pay their bills. So why not help and let them throw a couple shirts a show? You could even limit it. You could be, hey, all right, you could sell 4 shirts a show. But to like be like, nah, you can't sell merch. It's going to fuck with me, bro. That's your own shit, man. Because you know that your shit ain't as good as this.
Man.
This is brilliant, bro.
That is an element I didn't know about, but like absolutely you should be letting the other comics on your ticket sell merch because it's just going to enhance the experience for the fucking audience.
Yeah, that too. They're going to be, oh, I got this show at this person's show.
Exactly. They're going to be like, hey, I was a fan of this comic before they were there and it was on the XYZ tour. It was awesome.
Yeah, 100%. Clip that, Matt. Make it fucking funny and mean, and I'm going to post it.
I saw him when he was opening for XYZ.
Yeah, I mean, when I opened for Chris, he let me sell merch all the time. I believe Bobby did when I opened for him one time, or Fahim has, or anyone Amir, I believe Amir, I've done a show with him.
No, he wouldn't let you do that. I'm just kidding.
Amir K?
Yeah.
No, anybody who like just they most people won't care. I don't know how other guys are.
Who else? Can we continue on merch? Who do you think outside of this has the best merch?
I mean, like I said, Chris has always been really good at merch. I mean, my dick towels were pretty top notch. Those were pretty infamous. Where I have people still DMing me like, "Look, somebody else has the idea." Like, I'm like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, as a cum rag. But that was a pretty brilliant one. I think
some of the craziest is the Subway guy. Have you ever met him?
The Mexican
yeah,
I know him.
Like his merch, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm never gonna buy it, but like the merchandising of it was incredible.
I remember he had good merch. Yeah, I forgot his name. I wish we could get it right. Yeah, I love that guy. He was very nice. He lives in Vegas now, I believe.
Yeah,
he's a cool guy. I want to say, who else has? I'll bet you.
Oh man, what's this guy's name?
I bet you Joe Coy probably has some pretty cool merch. I don't know what it is, but I would have to like go look. I'll bet you like some of these bigger guys have really cool merch. You know, I'll bet you Theo's got some cool ideas. I don't know.
Julio Gonzalez.
Yes,
is
Julio Gonzalez.
Subway.
And
he does like
that's a good idea.
Shirts wrapped in it, and it's like
he kills it.
Dude,
one of the nicer guys I've ever met, and he'd been doing comedy a long time. We ran into each other in Vegas one time, and then he's a really cool guy.
The craziest thing is I've never even seen like a merch table ever so elaborate.
Oh, really? I've never seen his
my goodness.
Oh, it's
it's a full table, and you swear to God you're about to order lunch. And you're like, oh, that's a foot. Wait, that's not a foot long. He's like, no, there's a shirt wrapped in this, and you're like, bruh.
I need to wrap my regular Dick Energy hoodies in a fucking dildo. I got a new idea for merch already. I got to get rid of these regular Dick Energy hoodies now because like now I have an idea for.
You sold all the idiots, right?
Yeah, they're done. Which they're doing well. I feel like those did better than the regular Dick Energy ones, but Dude, I bought regular Dick Energy hoodies and I bought a bunch of green ones for Chicago because of St. Patrick's Day. I get there, St. Patrick's Day weekend. Chicago celebrates St. Patrick's Day the weekend before St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
What the hell?
I got a bunch of fucking green hoodies to sell.
And everybody's like,
That was last weekend. I go, well, why would nobody knew that? Nobody fucking knew that. Why would you guys do that?
I've never heard of that.
Because bro.
Chicago, get your shit together.
Get your shit together, Chicago.
They're like Arizona doing their own like daylight savings time. Like, no, get on our schedule.
Chicago, get your shit together. Let's get real, guys. Let's get real for a second. We got I'll leave you guys with this. We got to talk about the Instagram verification process now. We got to talk about it, and I want to get close with you guys here. Listen, man. If you're somebody who's buying a badge for $15 a month, that's $180
is it up to
a year.
15 now?
Well, I don't know what.
I'll look it up.
Twitter's
I thought it was
different.
8 when it started. Oh,
I think that's Twitter.
Twitter.
So Twitter's whatever. I'm talking about Instagram, bro. And I know who you are, guys. I've seen you. I've called out everyone. I've called them out too. I've called them out, bro. You're buying a blue check, dude. So you're going to keep this going forever, dude? Because you know it's going to be a month where you're like, I don't want to pay for this. And it's not going to be there for a month. And we're going to know you did it. Here's what's the problem is some of you guys buying this blue check, I've called out 3 friends on it and they go, well, oh, actually I submitted and I actually just got verified. You can't just submit and get verified the same week that they are now on sale. Bullshit, motherfucker. I am not your friend like we used to be if I know who you are and you've done that. Bro, I cannot get behind a human being, especially in their 40s or 50s, buying a blue verification. There is nothing lower in life. You're the type of person that puts bumper stickers on a car. You're the type of person, dude, you're buying, first of all, if you're buying a blue check mark because you think like, oh, this will make me look cooler, you got your priorities fucking messed up. First of all, if you still have commercial ads on your YouTube or Hulu account and you're not paying for that first over a blue check, that's stupid. Mark, have you seen that? Have you been like, oh, this is annoying? Have you come across a couple accounts and go, bro, you can't have 2,000 followers and fucking have a blue check mark and not be in entertainment?
Yeah,
for what's that for? What's that for? So you mentally are like, I want to look. By the way, I was verified years ago, and it's cool.
Wait, but
it's fucking cool.
Wait. You were verified on Instagram?
On all the things for years ago. I remember
when it was like Facebook. I feel like
I got verified on Instagram in 2018 and Twitter like 2019.
No, I don't remember you being verified when we started working.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
All right.
I got it right after I did the mic because I used that power of like, hey, I just was on a television show. So let me use that. I have a friend.
I think it's absolutely fucking useless.
Useless. I don't understand. If I have a friend who did it and I think they did it because they want to get attention from women, that's where I get really mad because now I'm like, but wait, why are you looking for someone that would think you're cool for having that? Then you are looking in the wrong area. Why would you want to be with someone who values that? How
that's not going to last though, because the girls are going to be like, oh, well, anybody can have it now.
Yeah, exactly. I have another dude. Exactly. You can't buy a blue check mark and be like, oh no, we submitted. You can't lie about it, motherfucker. You're going to pay the $15. How long are you going to pay for this lie? That's what I can't wait to see. How long are you going to pay for this lie? Because I can't wait for the day it disappears and I go, so that's who you are. I can't be friends with you the way we were. I can't be legitimate friends knowing, oh, you're someone. So let's walk through the mental process of actually doing this. I am on Instagram. Let's forget your age. If you're 24, I'll give you an excuse. It's cool, right? You want to look cool. You want to look legitimized. You're a younger comic. You think it makes you look legitimized. You think maybe it will get me on more shows. Maybe it'll make me look like a more legit comic. I don't know. Maybe not anymore. Your followers and your views per clip will actually help you the most. Okay, but if you're a regular guy, why?
Let me ask you a question.
Hold on. And I'm calling them out. I want you to feel guilty. Does that make me a bad person? I don't care. I want you to feel shame. I want you to feel shame. If you buy a blue check mark, I want you to feel shame and I want you to feel bad about yourself. And you're like, well, Michael, would you pay for it? No, I wouldn't. Do I have a blue check mark? Yes. Is it cool? Yeah. It's fucking cool.
Do you lose yours now?
I think on Twitter they said you're going to lose them. The legacy
yeah, on
ones.
Twitter you're going to lose it if you don't pay.
Bye.
Yeah.
Take it. I'm not paying for that. And if they did that on Instagram, no, but mine's free. I have a free one. And people might be like, why are you upset about it? Because I can't walk through the mental process of someone who did it.
Phony.
It's phony. It's inauthentic. Here's my number one thing about stand-up comedy. You got a lot of comics going out there doing inauthentic stand-up crowd work. Biggest pet peeve.
What does that mean to you? Like, help me.
Fishing for it. You're fishing for it. You're fishing for it. So you got a lot of comics out there. They're on stage. They have the camera set up. You're conscious that the camera is set up. That's one. So you're conscious. You're like, I set up a camera. And we're all doing it. I set up a camera. Okay. But you are now going, hi, what's up? And you're doing, if your show is 30 minutes of crowd work, you're falling off the wagon here. Like, you got to have material, man.
They're just addicted to clips.
You're addicted to clips. You got to have material, but you got to put on an hour. You got to have 45 minutes at least. Have 45 minutes, and if crowd work happens in the show, it happens. I have 4 to 5 rhetorical questions planted in my act. It gets a rise out of people sometimes and creates some crowd work. But I do not start and go, where are you guys from? So what are you guys doing? Are you guys dating? Are you guys on a date?
Those.
Are you on this? No, I fucking might walk up and be like, this guy looks like this. That guy looks like that. And I start roasting people. Like, this guy looks like he fucking, you know what I mean? Like, owns a fucking boat or something, which would be good if I did have a camera on them, because I do fucking go in hard and make fun of people. But it's inauthentic to chase the crowd work, but then also to be like chase the clips and then be able to sell tickets and then go on the road, which I'm hearing that a lot of these guys are just kind of doing 20 to 30 minutes of crowd work and then some material. You can't be a great comic unless you can kill with 10 people in the crowd. That's it for me. If there's 10 people and you can kill with 10 people, that's the most legitimate comic I've ever seen. Because anybody can kill with 1,000. You only need 600 of them to laugh. You ever hear 600 people laugh? It sounds like 700 or 800.
Yeah.
You ever hear 600 people laugh? It sounds like almost 1,000. There's not that much big of a difference. You only the higher chances of succeeding are way higher with a bigger crowd. You kill with 10 people, you're a fucking dope ass comic. You want to be inauthentic and do crowd work and then buy a blue check mark? I can't be on board with that. I can't be on board. I'm legitimately annoyed by it. It's fine if I like how some people are like, no, just it knowing the fact that it's like, hey, this isn't legitify anything anymore because now people could buy it. Your mom or dad could buy it.
I hate the purchasing now.
It's stupid, but like, if anything, the legacy ones should have a different color. Just like, all right, fine. You want people to buy a verification? Fine, go do that, but make it a different color.
It should be like $10,000. It should be $10,000, or like the media deems you have to have one, kind of like the process before.
Well, that's what it was. You had to process. You had to send in 3 articles of write-ups about you. I had to have a PR person do it. Mm-hmm. So like that's how it was done. So now like the fact that like there's a guy. I have 2 people I know that are in their 40s. One's in his 50s. What are you doing, man? The fact that your mentality is like that makes me, I can't take you seriously.
I want to guess after the show.
I can't. You want to know? You want to know either of them? I can't take you seriously. I can't take you. If you're somebody walking on this earth going, yeah, I'm going to subscribe to this, then that's unbelievable. We all know somebody who did this. This is a new thing. On Instagram, people are subscribing to have a blue check mark, and it's like $15 a month. That's ridiculous. And if you're somebody who has the mentality of going, I need this, and you're a regular person, not like an actual business, like, oh, I'm a clothing store or a coffee store, maybe I can get behind that. But if you're an actual person, you guys all have friends that are doing this, or you have people that are doing this that are, whatever. Let me rephrase this. Guys, if you have someone who's doing this, this is your opportunity. Tag them in the comments right now, and let's make them feel bad. Let's make them feel bad because it's making us feel bad. And it's not this has nothing to do with insecurities. It doesn't, oh, you're just mad. It's making you feel insecure because they're buying blue check marks or something like that. No, man. I can't get behind somebody and have them in my life if their thought process is, I need to subscribe to a blue check mark to validate who I am. That's sad. That's some deeper, darker shit, man. That's not a confident person. That's inauthentic. And so if you got tagged in this comment section, everybody knows your secret. And it's embarrassing. And you should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed right now. Right now, this message is for you. And your friends tagged you because this is embarrassing to them. And they can't be seen with you anymore because you subscribed to a blue check mark on Instagram. That's not okay, man. And you have a chance to apologize to them by replying to their comment and saying, okay, I will not do it next month. We'll let you have 1 month. But it's disgusting. You're gross. What else would you do? What type of person subscribes to that? Oh, you have filters on all your things? Either way, it's disgusting. You're a bad person. We don't like you. We want you out of the country. Bye. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching Life with Lenoci. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a 5-star review. We'll see you next week. And we appreciate everyone who's been here always. Goodbye.